the first thing that you need to do is use every relationship you've ever had. So when I started a legal staffing company, my clients were businesses. And so I sat down and I made a list of all the people I knew, and it turned out that 90% of the people that I knew were attorneys, and 1% of the people I knew were business owners that could afford legal staffing services. So that was a huge problem for me. I didn't know anybody in my customer segment. So what I did was I made a list. I took all those people that I knew, and then I contacted all of them, and I said, do you know any business owners, anybody that owns a company that could be big enough? Here's what the range I'm looking in. They have to be over 10 million in revenue. They have to be under 100 million in revenue. It has to be the president of the company. And out of the first 80 people that I talked to, I had coffee with all these people. I set up lunch. I set an advisory board up. They gave me a list of 150 people to go talk to. And so I went and talked to all those people. And out of those, I found the first customers for that company that started it on a journey, right? So you have to be very careful of what your network is. Make sure that as you meet people at the university, you stay in touch with them, because as you start looking for the first customers for your business, those connections, those peers are going to be the first people that you reach out to get those customers. Oops. Number 2, stalk and awe. Now, this is a term that you have permission to use as long as you give me attribution. It is a patented move that I do to get customers. Here's how it works, very simple. You figure out who you want to be your client, you stalk them, and then you awe them once you finally get in their presence. So again, staying in with a staffing company, I read an article in the local business paper about the Kauffman Foundation and how they were starting a new program to help build huge, fast growth tech companies. So they wanted companies that were tech, and they were going to go from 0 to 100 million in under 3 years. And for some reason, when I read that article, I was like, I don't do any of those things, right? I was a service company. It was a slow growth. I was like, I should be there. Like, something good will happen if I'm in that program. So they said that the guy who was running the program, his name is Bo Fishback, and he was in a picture of the article. And so I called Bo, and I left a nice message, like I'd really like to be involved, and I didn't hear anything back. So I sent him an email, and I didn't hear anything back. So my husband and I, we sat down, and we made a list of, like, we went through our LinkedIn connections, and we made a list of everyone we knew who knew someone who worked at the Kauffman Foundation. So it's like 32 people. So we called all of our friends, asked them to call all of their friends to tell Bo Fishback to go to lunch with Diana Kander. So after the 25th person told him to go to lunch with me, he finally did. I meet him in the vestibule of this Hula Hands restaurant. He's a towering man. He's like 6'7". And he shows up in the waiting room. I was like, hi, nice to meet you. He's like, who are you? What do you want from me? Why am I here? And I was like, well, I was hoping we could sit down before we talk about this. And he's like, what do you want? And I was like, well, you have this thing. I'm a woman-led company. I think you need women-led companies. I'm not a tech play, but we're a local company. I don't know if you have a lot of local companies in your group, so I just want to be a part of it. And he was like, okay. So that's how that conversation got started. And from that, the Kauffman Foundation, a few years later, became one of our clients. So now our company provides legal services to the Kauffman Foundation because of the Stalk and Awe campaign that I led. I have probably hundreds more like it. The authors that I respect and like, people in the community that I want to meet, I will stalk and awe all of them. And several people in Kansas City have famous Diana stalk and awe stories, so please adopt it for yourself.